And now, from the Florida Today Information Center, this is the Florida Today Show.
Hurricane season has officially begun. Do you know the drill? Meanwhile, Space Shuttle Atlantis is on its way to an exhibit hall near you. And a proposed TV show about Cocoa Beach may be filmed far, far away from Brevard County. Hello, Space Coast, and welcome to the Florida Today Show. I'm Christina LaFortune. Today is Sunday, June 30th. The news never stops, so let's get started. Earlier this month, emergency managers simulated a 1-2 punch storm scenario for their annual statewide hurricane drill. And last week, Watchdog editor Matt Reed sat down with Brevard County Emergency Management Director Kimberly Prosser to find out how Brevardians should prepare for this hurricane season. Here's more.
Kimberly, what is the outlook for hurricanes this year?
Well, according to Dr. William Gray from Colorado State, his prediction is 19 named storms, 8 hurricanes, and 4 of them major. However, of course, it doesn't really matter how many storms there are predicted for a season because it only takes one to make it a bad season.
We hear about these projections every year, and if we don't have one make landfall, does that mean that the projections are way off?
Actually, not at all, because last year it was predicted to be a below average season. It was about an average season. The storms still occur. Whether or not they make landfall on the United States is not really calculated in the number of storms.
What is the best place if somebody is new to all of this? A storm is approaching, looks like it might make landfall. Where should they be paying attention? Where should they be getting information?
They should be getting information from the Emergency Management Office, from the local media. They can go to our website, embrevard.com. We have hurricane survival guides that are available at the libraries and the county commission offices and at the EOC. And also, actually, if you look in the front of the AT&T phone book, there's a variety of emergency information there.
Oh, good. Well, so in other words, if the power's still on, just stay plugged in and tuned in and pay attention because there'll be lots of news and information coming out about
Absolutely.
What to do. What about afterwards? What about when the power is out? How can I find out what's going on? How can I get information?
Well, actually, one of the things that we recommend for people is you want to make sure that your cell phone still has power, and if you have an automotive charger, you can plug your cell phone into your car and still have that, and you can use that to get information electronically. But of course, certainly pay attention to whatever other media that you have available, whether that's electrical or, a newspaper.
Later on our program, we'll find out how government groups such as FEMA will help Brevardians should a storm hit our area. Remember, hurricane season runs through November 30th. Space Shuttle Atlantis has found a retirement home. It's part of an exhibit that opened Saturday at the KSC Visitor Center. Here's Florida Today space reporter Todd Halverson to tell us 5 things that visitors shouldn't miss.
Welcome to the new retirement home for the Space Shuttle Orbiter Atlantis here at Kennedy Space Center's Visitor Complex. I'm Todd Halverson, Senior Aerospace Reporter with Florida Today, and we're here to give you an introductory tour to this amazing $100 million exhibit. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you the top 5 coolest things you want to make sure you do not miss when you come see the new exhibit. Come on inside with us right now. Cool thing number 5, something you just don't want to miss. It's the appearance of the orbiter. You'd probably expect to see a shiny white spaceship, but in fact, Atlantis is pretty beat up. There's dings all over this ship, and that's because it flew 33 times, spent 307 days in space, and tallied 126 million miles. Cool thing number 4 that you just can't miss is take a look at the size of the crew quarters on the space shuttle. The orbiter standing on the launch pad is 184 feet tall, but can you imagine 7 people living and working in that small space? This is NASA astronaut Bob Springer, who flew into space 3 times, right?
Twice.
Twice.
Once on Discovery, once on Atlantis.
Once on Atlantis. Can you tell the folks what it's like for a large group of people to live in those small quarters for 2 weeks?
Well, obviously it's a very small vehicle, and you lose any personal identity in a very, very quick fashion. You just have to put together the things that you need, and of course it's very compact. It's designed for that purpose, so it makes it like living out of a suitcase for 7 days. And like I say, you lose some of the personal privacy that you might enjoy, but that's secondary. You're up there to do some very, very serious work, and that's the focus of it. Now, the good news is, and something that people don't think about, is the cockpit's about the size of a 747 on the flight deck, and then there's a mid-deck below that's a little bit smaller than that. And what happens is, I like to refer to it, the cockpit grows in space. How does it grow? Well, it doesn't really grow, but you're up there weightless conditions. So here on Earth, you're constrained by gravity. I can only reach up so high and use space. When you get out there in the weightlessness of space, everything becomes accessible. So that corner up there in the far reaches is just as convenient as something here at chest height.
There you have it, folks. Right from the NASA astronaut, Bob Springer. Thanks, Bob.
You bet, Todd.
All right. Cool thing number 3, what you just won't be able to miss is exactly how close you can get to this vehicle. I feel like I can reach out and touch it. Cool thing number 2 at this exhibit is the payload bay doors. The payload bay doors are open, and they are not designed to be open in one gravity. They're designed to be open in space. So Tim Macy here can tell us a little bit about the difficulty in opening up those doors for people to see inside.
You're absolutely right. The only time the payload bay doors were really open in 1G here on land was when we got ready to, when it went to the orbiter processing facility, and they had these giant pieces of metal on the side called strongbacks. The strongbacks opened very, very slowly, and they supported this whole door. Now these doors, as long as they are very light. And I don't like to say fragile, because that makes it feel like it's, not right to me, but very delicate in terms of you got to make sure that the hinges are kept right and it doesn't get off tilter. That made opening this here into display much more difficult than I think anybody really thought it was going to be.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Cool thing number 1 about this whole exhibit to me is the fact that the orbiter is displayed at a 43.21 degree angle, as if it's flying in space. But what really makes that special, folks, 43.21 degree angle, that's 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff. If you are in Florida, you just have to come and see this. One of the last cool things I'll tell you about, look at the faces of the people when Atlantis is revealed and they come out and see this spaceship for the first time. For Florida Today, I'm Todd Halverson, reporting from the Kennedy Space Center.
A local TV series about Cocoa Beach may actually be filmed outside of Florida, much to the chagrin of local officials. The show is based on the book Live from Cape Canaveral by space writer Jay Barbary, who happens to reside on Merritt Island.
Local officials are now fearing a proposed TV series, aptly named Cocoa Beach, won't be filmed in Central Florida. In fact, it might be shot in another state. The Space Coast could lose out on a major TV series because the Florida legislature didn't add to its pool of money for film industry incentives. Those incentives, in the form of tax credits, draw production companies to the area, says Space Coast Film Commissioner Bonnie King, who regularly scouts Brevard County sites for local and national film projects.
Well, the competition for film is fierce, as you know. There's people in all states that want film projects in their own area. So film incentive is definitely a positive step to try to get film business into our area. And as you know, the state allocated, we had $296 million allocated in film incentives that were pretty much used up very fast. So now, anybody who wants to film here is pretty much in a queue, in a waiting line, putting on a waiting list to see if they can get additional tax incentives.
The series is based on a book by NBC space correspondent Jay Barbary, a Merritt Island resident who hopes the show is produced on the Space Coast. And so agrees Cocoa Beach Mayor Dave Netterstrom, who says the proposed TV series, which would revolve around the lives of Cocoa Beach area residents during the 1960 space race, is a huge opportunity.
You know, a show like this, I know the governor's always looking for return on investments for his incentives. A show like this would, with all the excitement about space starting to happen again, a show like this would be a huge marketing tool for Florida and the Space Coast to help attract the new space companies that are trying to figure out where they want to locate, build, and launch from. We want to make sure they come to this area. This is where the space adventure began, and this is where we want to make sure it continues.
Netterstrom has sent an email to Governor Rick Scott to express his concern that his city might be shut out of the project.
And speaking of Cocoa Beach, there's talk about a popular annual air show moving south. Here's more.
By bringing an air show to Melbourne, it would bring over $7.6 million in economic impact here to the community, to the hotels, to the restaurants, to the activities that go on. An air show is one of the best reasons of the year to go to the beach. So by hosting an air show here at the beach in one of the slowest times of the year, it would bring a large number of people here, and it would turn an otherwise slow weekend into one of the best weekends that you could have from a tourism and economic impact perspective. We're proposing to have Show Center at Paradise Park, and that would put our aerobatic box or aerial football field running from the DoubleTree to the Hilton. So it would give us the opportunity to fly the air show in front of the 4 major hotels here that are here on the beach. And so not only would the air show be a great thing to see from the beach, but it would be a great thing to see from your hotel room balcony. And that definitely adds value and helps those hotels to be able to sell their rooms and to be able to get a premium rate for them. So the air show overall would be mostly viewable from Ugali south to, I would say, the DoubleTree. We're basing what we need to do here on what we know from Cocoa Beach. So we've got 4 years of history in Cocoa Beach on parking and how much parking and how many lots, and we've got some hard data on that. So what we found is if we're able to secure the parking areas that we're looking at here, that we don't have to get into shuttling, that we would be able to accommodate all the cars and the people that are coming here by car. With just the existing stuff here on the beach, it would be walkable, where you could either walk to Show Center or walk out on the beach and be inside of that aerial football field and be watching it from the area where it's the best to see.
After months of hearing the hype, the Ponce de Leon statue is still a no-show at the Melbourne Beach Park. Here's more.
I think it'll be a good addition to the park. This is a beautiful park. It's relatively new. It's being underutilized at present because I don't think there's enough awareness about the park. I think the statue and the actual construction will, arouse a lot of interest of people driving by, and ultimately it will add to the beauty of the park and hopefully increase the patronage of the park, which hopefully will increase my sales a little.
Well, I haven't been in town in a while, but I'm not sure why the statue is being erected or why it's not being erected. I don't know anything about that, honestly.
And do you have any opinions about it being?
I don't think this whole movement behind idolizing Ponce de Leon is a great idea. I don't think that this is making Ponce de Leon a hero proves anything. I don't think that it's a good idea. I think it's a waste of time. I think there's a lot of other great reasons to have a park, or to name a park. One could be after the Native Americans who were here thousands of years before the Europeans came.
In business news, a new local fitness center is opening just in time for beach season.
Fitness enthusiasts on the Space Coast have no shortage of places to work out, and they're about to get another option when LA Fitness opens in Melbourne at the end of the year.
LA Fitness has a nice appearance, it has a nice ambience, and then inside they have structured facility. You can play basketball, you can swim, you have aerobics, you have kickboxing, you have personal trainers. have a variety of assortments that's different from a lot of other corporations.
The new LA Fitness will go in the 38,000 square foot space that was in Albertsons at Lake Washington and Wickham Roads. It will have a 3-lane swimming pool, full-size basketball court, large room for classes, spin room, juice bar, kids club, and areas for the standard free weights, cardio equipment, and circuit training. Health clubs already established in the area say they don't view LA Fitness as competition. They say each offers something different. But Lindsay McDonald already signed up and can't wait to work out in her new gym.
I chose LA Fitness because they have more of a variety than a lot of the other gyms around here, and it seems like it's going to be a lot more of value for like what you're paying for your membership.
The 50 or so health clubs in Brevard County contribute to the $22 billion a year health club industry. The major operators here have been Health First's 4 Pro Health and Fitness centers, the 3 YMCAs, 5 Anytime Fitness locations, and 4 Planet Fitness locations. LA Fitness has been taking early membership sign-ups, offering discounts to its normal rate of $34.99 per month. The company's arrival could infuse new life into the shopping plaza. The company has a target to open by December.
Now let's check back in with Watchdog editor Matt Reed, who had a chat with Kimberly Prosser about what we can expect and not expect from agencies such as FEMA should a storm hit our area.
One of the things that's changed a little bit over the years, based on experience here and also during Hurricane Katrina, is FEMA. Talk a little bit about what can we expect FEMA to do or not do after a hurricane?
Well, you have to keep in mind that FEMA is only going to step in after a request from the governor. And in that case, the FEMA has to make a decision of whether or not they believe that the damage is so extensive that the county and the state would not be able to meet the needs of the persons in that area. And even if there is a disaster declaration by FEMA, there are still 2 different types of assistance. There's the public assistance, which is for public infrastructure, and then there's individual assistance, which is for the residents who are impacted. So you can't count on those things.
What do they do? Last time, FEMA was bringing in ice, and that was kind of a snafu because people stood in line for a long time for ice that melted, or sometimes it was around, but people needed ice the next day. Do they still deliver ice?
FEMA does not deliver ice anymore, and neither does the state of Florida.
So don't count on
Don't count
ice.
on that.
Probably not a good time of year to be stocking up on a freezer full of meat to have, okay, because there will not be ice to keep your stuff in your freezer cold. What about other types of aid? Do they distribute cash aid or
it's all dependent on the storm and the situation. So, those are things that you should not count on. You should go ahead and make your own preparations.
Okay, just when you think we're in the middle of the summer doldrums, here's our entertainment team to tell us about fun ways to spend our weekends. Take it away, Susie and Pam.
Hi, I'm Susie Fleming Leonard.
And I'm Pam Harbaugh.
And we're here to talk about all the fun things going on in your entertainment world.
Which there are many.
There are. I was waiting for you to come in with some kind of quip, but...
Let's see. Well,
you know what?
It's patriotic time.
It is time to be patriotic. All things patriotic happening in the next few days. 4th of July falls on a Thursday.
We're dressed up for that today.
Yeah,
have you noticed?
We're dressed very patriotically.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
We should have thought. I'm more, I don't know, Miami chic.
Right.
But no, we are not, and we're Florida patriotic. Although
I don't know about that. You're wearing black. I'm a theater vampire, so
imagine us in red, white, and blue right now. Red, white, and blue. Because we're going to talk about what's happening on the 4th of July.
Yes, a lot.
A lot is happening on the 4th of July. Well, there are going to be fireworks displays around the county, but one of the big cultural events of the year, and this sort of kicks off the Brevard Symphony Orchestra's season every year.
Yes, it sure does.
Is their concert in Cocoa Village.
Wonderful concerts it's a lot of fun. There's a great if great acknowledgement. It is really fun.
And you can bring your blanket and your picnic and just kind of.
And if
sit
it
out on the
rains,
grass.
bring your umbrella and bring your slushies.
You can also, if you want to have a little bit of the VIP treatment, there's a barbecue dinner before the concert that's a fundraiser for the BSO.
Those are always very nice and delicious.
They are
too.
nice, and if you buy, you can buy tickets and get reserved parking and special things like that.
That's probably the biggest reason too. Oh, and the air conditioning in that room.
Well, but you only have the air conditioning during dinner. Then when you go out, you hear the concert, and as it's in the finale of the of what's the Stars and Stripes Forever.
The 1812 no, it's the 1812
Is it
overture.
1812 overture?
The Tchaikovsky's 1812 overture, which has nothing to do with America, had to do about with the war in Russia.
But it sounds very patriotic, and when they start the boom and all that, the fireworks start. And the fireworks go up over the river. And
They're timed with the cannon, and it's not a real cannon they use on stage. I've only been to one concert of the 1812 where they actually used cannons, and that was in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
And if you ever go to that one, just bring your sleeping bag because it takes forever to leave.
But so that's 4th of July. Also, while we're talking patriotic things, on July 6th, which is how does it say Thursday?
Well,
July 5th is Friday.
Yes.
I'm confused. Well, the dates on my little sheet of paper here are
we
wrong.
pay no attention.
But pay no attention to this. But on Friday, the 1776, the musical opens at Cocoa Village Playhouse. Very patriotic, as the name would.
And they do this every year. A production somewhere of 1776. For a few years, it was done in King Center, but they have this down pat.
And great costumes, great music. It just carry the whole patriotic feeling. Another patriotic thing that you can do on Friday, the first Friday O'Galley Art Walk is going to be that Friday, and they're going to be doing more patriotism and.
Are they having any more apple pie contests?
I don't think
you judged that one year, didn't you? She loves judging pie contests.
I judged the apple pie contest 3 years in a row, and I am sad to say that I really have a hard time eating apple pie now. Everybody thinks they're going, how did you get that job? How did you get that? It's not.
It's who you know.
It's great while you're doing it, but you can only eat so much apple pie.
Well, but along Highland Avenue with this art, they always have some interesting, creative event in store for that weekend.
They're going to have music, entertainment by Adrian Mac Davis in the band shell. So it's always a very fun, community-oriented evening to go down there. And speaking of fun, community-oriented and patriotic, America's pastime, baseball. If you want to go take in a baseball game on July 7th, the Central Boulevard Humane Society is having their second Bark at the Park this season. You can bring your dog.
I might bring Javier Molinares.
He's not a puppy.
No,
he's a real person.
You're reading about him today.
Yes, we do have a story on Javier in today's
and he loves baseball.
He does love baseball.
And he sings. So there's a cultural / entertainment component to this.
I wonder if he has a dog that he wants to bring to the baseball game.
Maybe.
I don't know. Well, I think Pam and I have gapped enough for today. We'll be back next week with your entertainment update.
Thanks, Susie and Pam. Finally, it's time for a little sports talk. Erica Isola gives us a look at the new basketball court at the UCF Arena.
There's a lot of excitement, not only in our program, but I think across the UCF country. We've done a good job, I think, in branding this court and letting people know. I think when you turn on the TV, you'll know UCF's playing. I think it's got a unique look to it, but it's not too strong, but I think it's got a great traditional buzz to it with our school colors, and I think hopefully this will be a great thing that all of our fans will be proud to come here and cheer our sports on.
Yeah, I felt a big buzz about it. A lot of people's talking about it and excited to come out and see us play on it, and a lot of the fans wanted to see the course, so I think it's all good, and I'm just excited for this whole year. Like, it's just, I hope it comes quick.
I think that it is a great symbol of what we're trying to do here. I like new, I like exciting things, I like things out of the box, as we say, and I think this is a great example of that, and in branding our school at a very important time.
With the court, with the uniforms,
with our conference, I think, you know, we just go out and we got a chance to be a powerhouse school right away. You know, everyone's on the same slate.
The Men in Black, I've seen that one coming across Twitter a lot. You know, that's what they ask if we was going to come out like that. But and we'll have our own identity here, and I think there'll be a lot of cool things that are happening. And obviously we got some new uniforms that we put together that'll be out for our players. But obviously you got to play the game. I mean, marketing's a part of it, but you got to go out and play the game, and this makes it a lot of fun, anticipation building up to.
Well, that wraps up another show. I'm Christina LaFortune, inviting you to tune in next week for all the latest headlines in news, space, sports, entertainment, crime, and so much more. Thanks for watching. Until next time, see ya.